on Photoshop CS5. Today I'm going to go over something that kind of started a while back, and it has to do with with the tools of Photoshop. And this time I'm going to focus in particular to the pen tool. And the reason for the pen tool is because it is one of the most, let's say, used tool, and I would say the most not used tool. And the reason I say it is because a lot of people don't know how to use it, and those that do actually are earning most of the money when illustrating. The pen tool also is a tool that is used in a lot of drawing programs. Photoshop obviously uses it, and so does Illustrator. Illustrator basically uses that tool, and I think the reason for it being an important tool is that because it is one type of file that if you can work with it, it can be used on printing. Yes, any size or level of printing, and it holds the printing to a very sharp edge. For example, if you had a small drawing and your client wanted to use that drawing in something larger than the 2 inches that it was normally designed at or worked on, but it was a vector drawing using the pen tool, they could actually blow it up to whatever size they want, and it would be perfectly fine. So without further ado, let's look at the tool. Here's, first of all, this is the pen tool over here, and if you notice, if you press down on the button, you'll see that the first one is the pen tool. Then you'll have what's called a free form pen tool, then an add, and then a subtract pen tool or point tool, and then you have a convert point tool. So before we get into the pen tool and how to use it, let's talk about the free form first, and then go into the plus, minus, and then the convert point tool. And you'll see some not immediate reason, but you'll see some reason for going there first. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's the freeform pen tool. Now, the freeform pen tool does exactly what it says. It allows you to draw in a freeform style. If I were to draw something, you'll see that the pen tool, and you'll see a little like a circle show up. It means that you made a connection with the end, and then you can close it. Okay. Now notice how this shape is formed. The problem with the freeform pen tool is that it's hard, very hard to control. Say if I went like this to try to trace this, I might not do it with my mouse. So I wouldn't use it for drawing necessarily. At least I won't. I'm gonna erase this because that is not what I want there, and therefore it should go. Anyway, let's look at this. I like that. Now, the freeform pen tool, going back there, we were able to draw this object or thing and close it up, and therefore it's actually you can actually use it as an art piece if it was something that you were drawing. But here is the thing that we want to get into about the plus and minus. The plus and minus can actually, if you press plus, can add more points in between points. Now you'll ask, why would I want to do that? There are cases where once you start learning how to use the pen tool, which we'll go into later, you'll see the reason for the plus and minus tool. Now here's using the minus tool, you can actually take away points. There's one, take away this one, take away that one. So I'm reducing the amount of points in this drawing. And like I said, the plus and minus pen tool will well, let's say the light will turn on once you learn how to use the pen tool. Okay, now the last one here on the list is the convert point tool. Now what the convert point tool really does is basically just converts it into a straight line point, and it doesn't do much more than that, and there's a reason for it, a good reason for it, and you'll find that out later when you start using the pen tool. Okay, so let's show you how it works. If you'll notice, this is a curve right here. If I went in here and touched it with this arrow, it kind of straightens out the point. Now it says convert, but I call it a straight line. Okay, so there's another straight line, there's another straight line, there's another straight line. Keep touching them, they turn into straight lines. Here's a straight line. See that straight line happen there? There, straight line, straight line, straight line. So it causes a straight line in between 2 points. Straight line happened there, and on, and on, and on. Okay? So you're going, wow, that's pretty interesting, but what can I use it for? Well, like I said, right now, if I try to explain it, all I'll do is make you crazy, and you won't know or remember. And so I'll save this for later on. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to get this direct select, this path selection tool, and it selects everything. Then I'm going to delete everything because I'm going over here to use and explain how to use the pen tool. Okay, first of all, you see my hummingbird. I went through painstaking search for a nice drawing. I didn't draw it. I can't take credit for it. Somebody did it. I thought it was very nice. It was free on the web, by the way. So if you wanted to find it, I could show you where that's at a little bit. In fact, I'll do that now because I might forget. So let's see. Go to and where's my history? Vector. There it is. It's actually at keepingdesign.com, Illustrator free-bird-wing-vectors. Okay, so that's www.keepdesigning.com/illustrator/free-bird-wing-vector/, and that's where I got it from. Okay, back to the hummingbird. Now, when placing this hummingbird on there, it's a dark black actually, and when I'm doing these, the pen tool, it'll be hard to distinguish your drawing from pen tool if left alone like this, dark black. So I'm going to reduce the amount of opacity so that you can see what's being done. Now, go back to the pen tool. It's already been selected, and we'll start. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to bring you in a lot closer. Okay, so I selected the magnifying glass and then press Option, and it becomes a plus sign, so now I can bring it up larger. Okay, now there's my pen tool being selected again, and I can start. Now, the reason you want to do this is, again, you enlarge it so that you can see the lines that you want to, you can see the edge or the line that you want to create. Okay, so here we go. Start here, and I'll come over here. Now, the reason for that is I've got a straight line going across. Now, when I started there and I went over here, I still left my finger on the mouse. I still left it pressed on the mouse. I didn't let go, because the minute I let go, I lost my point. I can't go any further. And you know what I mean? It's gone. So if I go back, undo, step back, press Option, then press the button there. Remember that. That means that you can start from that point, because if you don't press Option and press the point, you can't start from that point again. You've got to erase that point, delete it, and then start a new point. Okay, so here it goes. I started it, and I went here. Now, why did I go there? I just want to show you that it's going to be a straight line going across. I'm going to erase that, and then I'm going to start again. Uh-oh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? The thing that I did wrong is I didn't do exactly what I told you to do earlier, and that was go back, press the Option key, and then start from that point, or press it on that point and then start again. Okay, so now I'm going to go over here, and I notice that this curve is kind of, you know, a wide curve, so I'm going to stop here, because then another curve starts here in the opposite direction. So that's important for you to remember, because those kind of decisions will help you draw a lot better using this pen tool. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to put my point there. Now I'm not going to let go of my mouse by leaving it down, and then I'm going to stretch, and try to stretch it in such a way so that I can get that line following the drawing. Okay, you see that happening? Good. Now you can let go. Okay, now you want to cause this curve to happen. So go back so that you can get rid of this stretch line. Later on we'll talk about, you know, the importance of that stretch line and it being there. But anyway, I'm going to stop here, go to Option and press. Notice how one of the stretch lines left. That way you can continue your drawing. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and try to emulate that curve right there by coming in right here, because then there's another curve going that way. So I'm going to stop about halfway here, and then I'm going to bring this down to about there, and it's just about right, just about. Okay, go back, press Option, press the end point, then go back here, stretch. See these little things here? They're arms, and they're really small. They're smaller than that one was, and they were smaller than this one was. And the reason why is because there wasn't much stress or pulling right about here. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to press Option key, then press that end point so I can start from there or continue from there. Then I'm going to pull in here. Okay, press Option, then the end point. Now, what do I do here? That looks like a pretty large sweep, but I think I can cover it with one point. Now, you might say, well, could you do it with one point, or could you do it with more points? You could do it with more points, but once you start getting really good at this, you want to eliminate the amount of points that you have on a drawing, because it actually lessens the amount of megabytes that file would have with less points on this drawing. So you want to eliminate as many points as you can on a drawing, because it does make the file a smaller file. And that's always a good thing with printers and with people that use, like, you know, on the internet and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. Okay, I already pressed this down, or I should do it again because I don't remember. Then go over here at the end and see if I can pull, and pull this to match, and it worked. See that? Okay, now keep in mind that this pulling arm is really, really big. It was a lot bigger than these guys in between here. And probably a lot bigger than this guy was over here. Okay, so now I'm gonna go here, press Option key, then press the point using my mouse. And then I notice that there's a curve here, and then there's a slight one going in the opposite direction here. So I'm gonna stop about right there. And you know, once you start doing this for yourself, you're going to make those decisions about where you're going to put that point or end that point. And sometimes you're not going to hit it right, and sometimes you aren't. And you know, don't feel bad. Start all over. You know, nobody's going to get hurt by the fact that you didn't pick the right point when you were drawing it, because you could always do it over. Okay, so anyway, here we go with mine, and I'm going to right there. That seems to work fine. Okay, Option, press, and it's a slight curve right there, so there you go. Press, come in here. My decision is I think it's going to take 2. It's 1, press. Actually, it's going to take 3. Liking it that much. I'm showing a little white there, but you know what? At the end of the day, nobody's going to know it. Okay, then end it here. Come back, press. End it over here. This looks like okay, I noticed that this is kind of like a. I think it might work. I think I could end it using just 1. So anyway, I'll end it here. But look what happened. Okay, it caused a curve to go outside here. Okay, it caused a curve to go outside. In other words, pulling out this way when you wanted it to go that way. So that wasn't a good idea. So I'm going to go up here and back step, and it'll leave me where I ended last, or prior to the last. I'm going to press Option again, and that will, if you notice there's a little arrow, there's a little tiny V, upside down V, next to the pen tool point there. And if you look at the pen tool up here, you'll see it's the same V there. Well, the reason for that is because what you're really doing with this Option key is you're actually getting that point and making it into a straight line tool so that there's no pulling outside or inside. Okay, so let's do that. And I'll connect it over here. And it connected together. Okay, this is where you're going to run into problems. If you don't have any space out here to stretch it, then you're going to have to either go to your canvas size, make it larger so that you can have the room to pull that line, or you're going to have to use 2 points to make the same line. Well, I don't want to go to the trouble of adding more canvas space, so what I'll do is I'll step back, go back to where I was, and use 2 points to create that line. And you'll run into that problem. You're going to have to come back to this lesson from time to time just to remember the things that I'm going through with you right now. And then go back and practice. Just practice, practice, practice. That's all this means, is practicing and practicing and practicing. Okay, now bring that tool a little bit inward. Okay. Now, like I said, right about here I could have done a little bit better, so I'm going to go back, step back. I'm going to press my Option key, then press down on that. Come over here. Stretch, stretch, stretch. That should be a little better. Okay, now, if I were to take this and then I go to path over here. If you look on the right hand side, there's a tab called path. If you go to path, you'll see it says work path. What that is telling you is that you have a path that you're working with, or it's working working situation right now. It's not finalized. Well, you know that we just finished that portion of this hummingbird, so you know that it's final. So if you go over here on the top right hand corner and say save path, you can actually go ahead and save it, or you could say make selection, and make selection will turn it into a live area where you can actually add a color. Now here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to actually do a save path. Okay, you get a chance to name it, so we'll say head portion. Okay, and then I go back here and say make selection, and you notice it says anti-alias. You want that to be the case pretty much all the time, because anti-aliasing is meaning that you can actually have a little blur of an edge where the edge is not chopped perfectly, black and white. There's actually a little gradation happening on that line, and that's more natural. Your eyes actually see things better that way. You actually see everything that way. Where the line, isn't perfect, it's kind of blended at the end. Okay, blended into the background, or the background blended into the edge. So anyway, I'll say okay, and you'll see that it's active. Now, what's active? These little ants tell you that everything is active, either outside of it, which is the white part, or inside of it. Now, in order to do something with this, I'll go back to layers, and I'm going to cause a new layer to happen here by pressing new layer, and then just for this purpose, I'm going to just leave it alone, not even name it, so we can go on. Then I'm going to go here and work with a color, a little bright color, and then since this is the active layer, I can go ahead and use the bucket tool and press, and there you have the color. Now we can actually go to the bucket tool and go to gradation, and you could hit go up there and pick a gradation that's already pre-designed, or you can go ahead and make a gradation. Those are areas that if you don't know how to do that, making your gradation, we'll get into some other time. But here we go. I'll make a gradation, and there you see it. I like the purple better. Step back. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm going to cover a little bit more about the pen tool and the importance of using it, and how you can go back and forth from different programs using these, EPS, encapsulated PostScript drawings, using the pen tool, and how you can kind of like modify things, and I'll even take you into Illustrator and show you how they handle things a little bit with